welcome back again. So what we're going to do this time is an app called Password Keeper, as you can see kind of right here on the example. The idea of Password Keeper is that we're going to start in with authentication. So whenever you make a web app, pretty much you always need to have somebody sign in, because signing in helps you track that person, helps them actually have individual data that belongs to them. And so you have to do some type of sign-in approach. So we're going to do a couple different apps that use sign-in. The one that we're doing here is going to use the Rolls-Holman sign-in system. So you do have to be a Rolls-Holman student to be able to sign in, but that is appropriate for this class. But if you're watching this video and you're not a Rolls-Holman student, you'll probably have to come up with your own sign-in method. And so what this app does, so you can go to this example right here, FisherDS Password Keeper, and you can click on Rolls-Holman Login. When you sign in, it'll ask you for your Rolls-Holman username and your Rolls-Holman password. I've got mine set to where it remembers who I am. Once you have signed in, it takes you over to the main site. So you'll notice it's no longer on the sign-in page, it's now on the main site. And what this app is for is it's for letting you, keep your usernames and passwords to different services. And so obviously I've got a lot of fake things here. Just to go ahead and make one from scratch. So let's say I wanted to make a username and password. Let's do Spectrum. That's like the new name for my cable provider. And to be honest, I don't even know my password for them, so I'm just going to put blah blah. So Spectrum, username is FisherDS, and so I hit save. And what that does is that adds Spectrum to the list of passwords that I've got. Just as a fun little animation, we're gonna expand and contract these guys in kind of this cool way. Obviously, you can edit it. So if you change your password from blah blah to blah exclamation point, you can see that it changes it. If you want to remove it, you just click on remove, and there's this little password was removed snack bar that pops up. So this is the app. I think you can kind of get a basic feel for what it does right here. And we're going to be building this, and then you can see how these skills are going to be useful for you for the lab that you're working on. And then just the lab, just as a reminder, it was the photo bucket. And so you can see how one of the things that's required on photo bucket is Rolls-Holman sign-in. And you can also see how we're going to learn a lot of Angular material skills that'll help us with these cards and things. So you have more skills that you can do for your lab. To start things off, let's just go ahead and pick a spot to save this project. You can do it on GitHub, or you can do it on Ada, whichever you prefer. I recommend that you call it Password Keeper. Scroll down the description here. So the description is about learning about authentication and just kind of getting better with Angular Material 2 and Flex Layout and more CSS skills and animations, and that's just kind of how we do these apps. So we kind of teach you kind of like the core fundamental, but then also all these other skills are important to go along with it. So you'll go ahead and create a project either on Ada or GitHub. You'll copy that URL to your clipboard. You'll do a git clone of the project. It says I've checked out an empty project. Yep, sure did. And then the first thing you'll do is you'll create a new project called Password Keeper. And then we're going to go ahead and put on the hyphen routing again. If you forgot the hyphen routing, it wouldn't be the end of the world. That's code you could type. But it's easiest just to do it at the beginning, and it just kind of auto type some code for you. While that's going, you can hop over to your Firebase console and you can create a new project. So you have to say add new project. Call it your username Password Keeper. You can put things in caps or not in caps, that's fine. I've already got one, so I'm going to actually hit cancel. So here's mine, found it. And the first thing that you want to do is you want to go set up your database rules. When it comes to the database rules, you can go into database and you can click on rules. You can leave it how it is by default. So by default, when you came in here, it probably said rules read, and it said auth not null, and write would say auth not null as well. That's fine. You can actually just leave them this time. But just what you could do if you wanted is you could actually make your rules even more sophisticated. And so the way the rules work is you're going to have your root path, Inside of that, you're going to have a user's path. And then inside of that is going to be everybody's data. So Fisher DS has their data right here. And then some other people that have signed into my app have their data. And then each piece of data consists of a password, a service, and a username. And then you can see there's an auto-generated key here. So I just show you this format just to mention that you could make your rules more sophisticated if you wanted. I'm not going to really teach rules in this class, but I'll give them to you a couple times just in case you're curious. And I'll make these rules available above the video as well. What you could do if you wanted to make rules for this is you could say that, hey, on the user's path, so that means read-write is only available on the user's path, there's going to be UIDs. We put in a $sign to start with saying, hey, this is a wildcard. It kind of like says anything can match it. And it also makes kind of like a variable that you can use other places. So you can see it's used again here. So inside users, there's going to be UIDs. And there are read-write rules in this area. And the read rules are that the auth can't be null. And in fact, the auth UID has to be equal to the path that you're on. So it's just like a little extra safety so that you can only read and write your own stuff. And so you can see why with passwords we might want to do that level of security, right? Write actually has the same rules. So it's got to be signed in and you have to be the one reading and writing for this path. Additionally, you can go a step further and you can add these validate rules, which are kind of neat. And so these validate rules, they let you say, hey, any new data has to have a service and a password. A service has to be a string. A password has to be a string. And then a username is allowed to be added, but it can be a string or it can be null. So it can be a string or missing. And then any other fields would validate false. And so what that would do for you is if somebody tries to put in another field, it would reject it. So you can use these rules. They're the fancy rules. You can use the default. You could change it to read, write, true, true if you wanted. I don't really care. I'm not teaching rules. But if you wanted to learn, I didn't want to hide it from you. All right, so I've surely talked for more than long enough for it to finish, and indeed it has. And so now I'm going to go into this area and I'm going to say ng-serve just to make sure things are working. And I'm also going to open up Visual Code Studio, which recently updated for me, and it looks just a little bit different. And then I'm going to find the project, so the uppercase password keeper one. When I open it up, you can see that it's got 30 changes. So these are the 30 changes. I like to just go ahead and check this in right away. So I'm just going to say what command I type. So I type password keeper -- routing. And then I just want to make sure that my app is up and running and serving just fine. And it looks like it is. It's doing this new thing with the welcome to app nonsense. And I've never really liked that, but that's okay. Cool. So I think you've got an idea for the app we're trying to make, and we've stubbed in the placeholder. I suppose I ought to go ahead and sync it up with the cloud as well. So I say sync this to the cloud on the origin branch. And now it's synced up on the cloud as well. All right, come back next time and we'll start doing some of our installations. Woohoo! See you then.